The Bone Temple trailer has arrived and the crowd went mild. I think I've figured out why these movies just aren't hitting the way they should. So let's start with the brand new trailer for 28 years later, The Bone Temple. And my reaction is, it looks at the very best.
All right.
And that's really disappointing, especially when you compare it to those amazing trailers for 28 years later, building this huge sense of mystery and hype.
Was that thing a prosthetic?
That when you have a child of 12 present in every scene, all genitals, male and female, have to be fake.
Aww. The Bone Temple trailer, on the other hand, not terrible, but nothing really to get excited about. And for a franchise that used to feel so unique, it's quite underwhelming.
Can I have a I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed, blam?
And of course, part of the reason this trailer isn't landing with me is to do with 28 years later itself. I've spoken about that film a few times on the channel. Long story short, it's good, far from great. So when I saw this new trailer, my reaction is very much, okay, I have an unlimited card, I will see it. I'm certainly curious, but I'm not getting my hopes up. I've been hurt before.
No question about it, I am ready to get hurt again.
And I need to keep reminding myself that these films are not actually sequels to 28 Days or Weeks Later. 28 Years Later was the original film to kickstart this new trilogy, and this movie is very much a continuation of that. And when Danny Boyle described 28 Years Later as an original movie,
It doesn't feel like a sequel, it feels like an original film.
I guess I understand that. He wanted to make something fresh, not just rehash 28 Days Later, and there's certainly merit in that. But here's the problem. The movie was marketed as a sequel. When you call something 28 years later, you're setting the expectation that it will continue the story or expand on elements from the previous films. And let's not forget, 28 Years Later has been rumoured since like 2007. And the end of 28 Weeks Later, try keeping up, actually teased the rage virus getting to Paris. Would have been kind of cool to tell that story, just saying.
Jog on.
But instead, in 28 Years Later, what we got was a pretty small-scale, character-driven story, which there's nothing really wrong with that. It would have been fine if it was marketed as a spin-off, but as a sequel,
That's the best you can do!
it left too much off the table. Like, how did Europe actually contain the outbreak? How and why does the rest of the world monitor the UK? What are they looking to gain from it? Do they want to learn about the virus? Do they want to restore the UK? Do they want to nuke the UK? Will they take survivors? Even the story of Spike's village is very interesting. What did the outbreak of the virus look like there? How did information spread to them of the chaos that was happening? And how long did it take them, and what did they have to do to protect their island and rid it of the infection? But the film never explained it, and it doesn't look like this sequel is going to touch on it either. If 28 Years Later had been marketed as a solo spin-off story set in the same world, I think I would have received it a lot better than what I did. But as the beginning of a trilogy of sequels, it feels like a huge missed opportunity. There was no real tiebacks to the original film. They used some of the original music towards the end. No House in a Heartbeat. 28 Weeks Later might as well not have existed. Think back to the storyline of 28 Years Later and what we're seeing in the trailer for The Bone Temple. Is that really what audiences wanted to see? I think that's a huge reason why that film was so divisive.
Because I got the sneaking suspicion that we're not giving the people what they want.
It's okay, baby.
But before we go any further, if you are enjoying this video and you want to help a small channel grow, please check out some of the other videos that I have available and hit subscribe. But I suppose the one hook that the Bone Temple has is the announcement of Cillian Murphy's return. It'll be the first time this new trilogy actually ties back to the original film. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. I don't know why they spoiled this return, but they've done it now. Cillian Murphy has mentioned he's in the film, but he's only in it for a small amount of time towards the end of this film to set up the next film. Son of a 28 years later already felt like a set-up movie. And based on what Cillian Murphy has said, The Bone Temple is also a set-up movie for part number 3, which, by the way, has yet to enter production. Better go see this film if you want to see number 3.
Just trying to will it into existence.
Listen, if everyone goes and sees the second one, then we're in good shape.
Okay.
And in the meantime, we're left with 2 films that at the moment feel like stepping stones. And I think that's a dangerous pattern for this franchise. It's weird to see the reaction online as well to this trailer. Remember when the trailer for 28 Years Later released? Everybody was buzzing, and now The Bone Temple.
Hey, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I am looking forward to seeing this film. Like I said, I have an unlimited card. I need to get my money's worth. But I guess I'm also accepting that the more interesting elements of this world are probably never going to be explored in these movies. Instead, this new trilogy is doubling down on the story and characters they've established in 28 Years Later. And there is nothing wrong with that.
Do you mind if we stepped in? It would be our pleasure.
But it's just not what I was hoping for when 28 Years Later was announced, and announced as the start of a trilogy. It's like the stages of grief, and I'm finally at acceptance. I'm going in with an open mind, fully prepared to be completely underwhelmed once again. But what do you guys think of the trailer for 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple? Am I full of shit? Is this movie going to be amazing? Please talk me round in the comments below. And thank you very much for watching. I've been Scott of the Dead. Subscribe for dead honest takes like this. I'll say weekly, alright? Because every Monday is a challenge at the moment. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I will catch you in the next one. See ya.